You think you own your cat. You feed it. You clean up after it. You give a place to sleep. From your perspective, it's simple. You're the provider, and your cat is just living in your world. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Your cat doesn't see it that way. In its mind, you are the one living inside its territory, following rules you were never taught, rules it expects you to understand without ever explaining them. And every time you break one of these invisible rules, something shifts. Maybe it's subtle. Your cat walks away instead of sitting with you. Maybe it's obvious. It scratches, bites, or suddenly becomes distant. But it's never random. Because to your cat, you didn't just make a mistake. You broke the code. Most people think cats are unpredictable. They're not. What they actually are is misunderstood. In fact, a huge percentage of behavioral problems in cats come from one simple issue. Humans don't understand how cats communicate, and that misunderstanding creates friction. You think you're being affectionate. Your cat thinks you're being aggressive. You think you're helping. Your cat feels threatened. You think it's random behavior. Your cat is reacting to something you did. If you've ever felt like your cat suddenly changed, became distant, or stopped trusting you, there's a high chance you broke one of these unspoken rules without even realizing it. The first rule is simple, and yet almost everyone gets it wrong. Never stare at your cat for too long. Eye contact feels like connection. Your cat. It feels like a challenge. In the wild, animals don't hold eye contact unless they're preparing for conflict. Even friendly cats don't lock eyes. They glance, blink, and move on. When you stare at your cat, you're not bonding, you're confronting it. And your cat responds accordingly by looking away, leaving, or becoming tense. If you want to build trust instead, do the opposite. Soften your gaze. Blink slowly. Look away first, because in your cat's language, that doesn't mean weakness. It means, I trust you. The second rule is where most people destroy trust without realizing it. Never force affection. You see your cat sitting peacefully and you reach out to pet it. Or worse, you pick it up without warning. From your perspective, it's love. From your cat's perspective, it's control. Cats don't value forced interaction. They value choice. They want to decide when to approach you, when to sit with you, when to be touched. And when you ignore that, you take away their sense of control. That's why some cats tolerate being held but don't enjoy it. That's why others resist, scratch, or run away. It's not because they don't like you, it's because you didn't follow the rule. Let them come to you, and suddenly, everything changes. The third rule is invisible, but extremely powerful. Respect their scent map. Your cat doesn't. Experience your home the way you do. It doesn't rely on visuals the same way humans do. It relies on scent. Every time your cat rubs against furniture, walls, or even your legs, it's not just being affectionate. It's marking territory. Creating a map. Building a sense of safety. When you deep clean everything at once, you're not making the house fresh. You're erasing their world. And suddenly, your cat feels like it's living in a place it doesn't recognize. That's when stress starts. That's when behavior changes. And you have no idea why. The fourth rule is one you probably ignore every single day. When your cat talks, respond. Cats don't meow much to each other. They meow for humans. Every sound your cat makes is a form of communication. Attention, hunger, curiosity, or even just acknowledgement. And when you ignore it repeatedly, your cat learns something dangerous. That communication doesn't work. Some cats become louder. Others stop trying completely. And when that happens, the connection between you starts to fade, not because your cat doesn't care, but because you stopped listening. The fifth rule is about something deeper than behavior. It's about safety. Never trap your cat. You might corner your cat playfully, block its path, or pick it up in a way that limits its movement. It feels harmless. Your cat. It triggers something instinctive because in the wild, being trapped means one thing. Danger. That's why cats always look for escape routes. That's why they prefer spaces with multiple exits. And that's why, when they feel cornered, they react instantly, scratching, biting, or panicking. Ironically, when a cat knows it can leave, it's more likely to stay. Freedom creates comfort. Control creates fear. The sixth rule is where people confuse cats with dogs. That don't pet them like a dog. Dogs often enjoy full body, energetic petting. Cats don't. They prefer specific zones, head, cheeks, under the chin, and areas like the belly. That's not an invitation, that's a test. When a cat shows its belly, it's exposing its most vulnerable area. It might trust you, or it might be waiting to see if you cross the line. And when you do, you get scratched. Not because the cat is aggressive, but because you didn't understand the signal. The seventh rule is one most people break out of affection. Never disturb a resting cat. You see your cat sleeping peacefully in a sunbeam, curled up and relaxed. And you think, this is the perfect moment to cuddle. It's not. Your cat. Sleep isn't just rest. It's vulnerability. When you interrupt that, you're breaking a boundary. And your cat remembers that. Over time, it stops relaxing around you completely. Because in its mind, you're unpredictable. The eighth rule is where everything comes together. Learn their body language. Cats don't rely on words. They rely on movement. A flicking tail isn't random. It's irritation. Purring isn't always happiness. It can be stress. Slow blinking is trust. Ears back mean discomfort. Every small movement is communication. And if you ignore it, you miss everything your cat is trying to tell you. This is where most people fail. They wait for obvious signals like scratching or biting. But those are the final warnings. The real communication happened long before that. You just didn't see it. The ninth rule is surprisingly strict. The litter box is sacred. It's just a routine chore. Your cat. It's essential to comfort and security. A dirty litter box isn't just unpleasant. It's stressful. Wrong location? Stressful. Too noisy? Stressful. Too exposed? Stressful. And when that stress builds up, your cat doesn't complain. It changes behavior. And suddenly, you're dealing with problems that seem random, but aren't. The 10th rule is something humans underestimate. Cats need routine. You might think variety is good. Changing feeding times, moving things around, introducing new elements. But to your cat, consistency equals safety. Routine tells them the world is predictable. Break that routine too often, and you create uncertainty. And uncertainty creates anxiety. That's when cats become withdrawn, aggressive, or distant. Not because they changed, but because their environment did. And the final rule is the one most people completely overlook. Silence is connection. You don't always need to interact with your cat to bond. Sometimes the strongest connection happens when you're simply in the same space, doing nothing. Your cat sitting near you quietly isn't ignoring you, it's choosing to be there. And that choice is trust.so when you look at your cat. Again, understand this. It's not random, it's not moody, it's not unpredictable, that it's operating on a system, a set of rules, a language that was always there. You just never learned it. And now that you know these rules, the real question is, how many of them have you been breaking every single day?